On this episode, we skip the notes and just sit down to catch up on our weekends in real time. From Disney talk to a country concert in Athens, Georgia, basically inviting you into our kitchen table conversation. Today's February 24th, 2026, and this is episode 849 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys!
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. Well, welcome home, Rhonda. This is going to be a interesting episode, I guess, because what we're going to do is, because you walked in the door only like 5 minutes ago, I fell asleep on the couch for an undetermined amount of time because I don't really know what it was. And we both were away all weekend, separate places, and we're going to kind of just chat about it real quick. So this episode will be very different than usual.
Won't be Disney?
I have some Disney. So
I
do get to wrap in and rope in some Disney things, but it will be completely unnoted, I guess. We don't have notes. We don't have anything to go by. We're actually just going to be a husband and wife who are going to sit down and see how each other's weekends away were. So do you want to tell everyone what you were doing this weekend? Because a lot of that led into what I guess, kind of ended up doing, right?
Well, actually, no. I have this plan because Tina asked me a long time ago to go see Bailey Zimmerman. Mm-hmm. And I guess there was a Florida place he was playing that was about 6 hours. But there was a Georgia place that he was playing for about 6 hours, which was Athens, Georgia. And I was like, yeah, of course. I like Bailey Zimmerman a lot. So I was like, absolutely. So she picked Athens, Georgia.
Do you wish that she had picked Florida? Or did it come down to, do you know, was he even playing in Florida on a night that you could have gone? I mean, usually there's a day or two between a Florida and a Georgia concert for artists, so I didn't know if it was like, oh, sorry, he plays in Florida on a Monday night, or a Sunday or a Wednesday.
Well, it was kind of funny because she actually said that, so he played Friday night on Florida, yes, so it was Friday night. But it was, again, 6 hours, and then Saturday night was Georgia, which, again, was 6 hours. Yeah. So it worked well because she didn't want to, drive that on Friday, and be there Friday night for the concert and everything, which worked well because then we drove up Friday to Athens and then had Saturday. But so originally this is what we had done. And then I believe you were like, when are you going to that concert? Because your brother invited you to Maryland to watch a game, which was really cool because it was on the same weekend. Yeah. So that's when I think you realized, well, because we were leaving Friday, you had...
Yeah, Michael, our friend of Kat and Michael, who we've talked about plenty, he was down in... Orlando most of the week for a conference, and so he was going to be around,
and that's what sparked you to go
down Friday. There. Yeah, so
and then catch your flight out of there,
Orlando,
to Maryland.
And honestly, every time that and this starts to get into, and again, this will come back around to kind of some Disney and some travel because that's one of those things when you're looking at traveling. We don't need to travel to Disney World in the sense of we don't have to do flights, worry about rental cars, things like that. But if we do travel anywhere else, which we occasionally do, not very often, but, we look at both Orlando and Jacksonville because it takes us an hour to get to the Jacksonville airport.
Yes, it does.
Or about an hour and 45 minutes to get to the Orlando airport.
Yes, it does.
And so and the options going out of Orlando are greater.
Yeah.
They often have direct flights
Yep.
going to places there that they do not have out of Jacksonville. Often we have noticed they are cheaper. Mm-hmm. It is a much larger airport. So it is kind of one of those things when you're looking at travel, you don't want to sometimes just stick to what you're used to.
Right.
If hey, I've got an airport 30 minutes away, we're just going to go out of there no matter what. Oh, we got to, have 2 layovers on the way to Disney, or we've got this and that, expand your reach. And just like, and we're really going to rope off-property hotels into this conversation, just like we're talking about on-property and off-property, you got to compare everything, because the price of a flight isn't just the price of a flight.
Right.
A direct flight that you might have to drive 2.5 hours to get to the airport could make a lot more sense than the flight that has 1 layover that's 30 minutes from your home.
Right.
And then you have to still account in pricing and things like that because, as we always say, time is money.
Yeah.
And just to jump slightly ahead, as I look, as I got on my 6:15 a.m. flight this morning, going from BWI to MCO, and I look at all these families that are boarding for their trip to Disney World, part of me is thinking, well, they're going to be in Orlando at 8 a.m. or whatever it may be. There's that much more time that they have now to their vacation and their trip.
Right.
That does come with some things like maybe falling asleep on the couch, because you got up so early. Because I got up at 3:30 this morning. That part wasn't by choice. I had an Uber set for 4 a.m., which I know I didn't need one that early, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just get to the airport. And then, we sleep with a fan app on at night, like a sleep machine. So I had that going, and at 3:30, all of a sudden it cuts off. And I'm like, what? So that wakes me up.
Right.
Earlier than I wanted to be up. And
what happened?
Some scam caller or something trying to come through.
Oh, no.
That didn't get flagged by scam. Well, first, I had a text at like 3:14 a.m. apparently that said, WD, what is it? What are you doing? How do the kids say it? So somebody was either up late, just rando texting people or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
So first I had the WD or WYD in, I think is what it was. What are you doing? And then a minute or two later I noticed it had 2 question marks. And then the people tried to FaceTime audio. Whatever it was.
Oh my goodness.
So that shut it off. So I got up and I'm like, it was actually probably, about 3:20. And I'm like, well, I had an alarm set for 3:45. That ain't happening. So I just got up and I showered at 3:30 this morning and all that good stuff. But how was your concert? Speaking of off-property hotels, you stayed very, 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 very far off property from Disney World. But how was the weekend? Because I don't know much. Like when we do these things, we're, when a trip like this, we're usually pretty busy. I mean, we're not texting each other constant what's happening. Just enough to see what's up. So
we went to Athens, Georgia, which is where, if everybody is familiar or if you're not familiar, is the University of the Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah. We were very, very close to it. Unfortunately, it was nasty and rainy Saturday morning. So we just basically did what girls like to do is have a very nice breakfast. And then after that, go shopping. Mm-hmm. And then unfortunately, by the time we got ready for the concert and then was heading down in the Uber, we were like, man, we just should have come down here. Because it was super cute, like the city, like of getting closer to and everything.
Gotcha.
So when Tina originally looked and she started looking, she looked for an Airbnb and then she just, I don't know, and then sent me this thing for a hotel, and it was the Howard Johnson, which
that was probably
I started to say
your first error.
Well, I started to say if a lot of people like think that and go, but unfortunately, like she was like, okay, it's a brand name.
Yep.
And it actually
So it's Motel 6, though. I mean, Motel 6 is a brand name.
Correct.
Okay.
But it actually had the highest amount of stars in where she was looking.
Oh, boy.
And it wasn't like $500 a night either, because we didn't want to spend that. There was actually, I believe, near, and I'm trying to remember what it was, like, because I thought that might have been nicer, but it wasn't. It was lower, like the stars.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like a Quality Inn and Suites or something, something that I was like, huh? And then I was like, that's even lower stars. I was like, that's crazy.
When you said it was Parents' Weekend as well at the University of Georgia.
I just started to say, when we went
every
to check in.
hotel is already probably doubling their prices.
Well,
anyway,
when
right?
we went to check in, the woman started saying something. And then I kind of started looking. Even Alexia was looking. And I mean, there wasn't a hotel near us that was like available.
Yeah.
And even if, unfortunately, like if we would have gone in and found like bugs and all kinds of stuff.
Like a body under the mattress or something, which tends to happen at places as such.
Well, it was super funny because it was definitely a adventure this weekend for us.
Yeah.
But so we got there, and that was the situation where not only was it Parents' Weekend, not only was there a concert for Bailey, but there was also
on campus. Correct? Was the concert actually on campus or not?
No, it was at Athens Ford Arena. Athens.
Okay, so, but none of us were sure when you guys were going up there if that was like the arena on campus where just say
then maybe it was
the basketball team plays, for example.
Maybe.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Were there lots
man.
of buildings around it that said things like college or
I don't know.
That would be one of the determining factors.
Listen, man.
I mean, or was it in the middle of like a field?
No, it wasn't in the middle of a field.
All right. Just checking.
But we were in Athens, Georgia, where it starts to get hilly too. Where like you're down here and there's a lot of things way up here, and you're kind of like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, we had a great time. But not only there was a Parents' Weekend, Bailey. There was apparently some big chorus thing.
Like a competition or something?
I don't know. But she was saying all these things where that's why there was like no room and no other hotels.
Yeah. And you get stuck at the Hojo.
Yeah. And that's what that's what the creepy guy called it on the way home.
That's what everybody
by the
calls
way.
it. Yeah. The Hojo. I mean, at least it has a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Uber home after the concert was also adventurous.
Yeah, the Uber on the way there was a woman, which was great. I think now, this is awful to say it like this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think in our day and age, like you can pick Uber, like quiet, comfort, blah, blah, blah. I also think you should be able to pick like
Uber female
or a male.
I agree.
Because it was a male. And I'm not going to lie. I literally texted Tina and Alexia and I said, should I pull up 911? I'm not kidding. I'm stuttering, sorry. He obviously was from around there.
Yeah.
Whereas there was a situation earlier where Tina we were at the Broken Egg, which was just right down the road, or another Broken Egg, and I think that's what the name of it was. And it was, we had breakfast that morning, and she was trying, and you can apparently schedule an Uber.
Yeah. Yep.
So she was trying to schedule it. Well, apparently she scheduled it at the Broken Egg. So,
it'll pick up where your location is.
But she said she swears she hit our hotel. But the point is she texted the driver, and the driver, she said, it's like, we're like right next door. You know, we told her where we were. I felt like this woman wasn't from around there or something because she canceled on us, and we were frustrated. But it's fine. But the point is so this guy at the end, he does a whole bunch of things trying to get to us, and he finally gets to us, and he says he wasn't going to leave us, and we all three girls get in, and he says, oh, I'm not going that way with the traffic. He goes, I'm going to go this way, and he completely ignores Uber. Completely.
Yeah, which they're not supposed to do. at all. And you and I remember have been in situations where they have stuck to the path so much that it has caused issues. So,
where he just kept, and so he kind of like, and he was like, I'm gonna throw Uber off again. And I mean, when we were driving up there, by the way, there was a lot of back roads we were doing where it was a little like, I'm glad we weren't driving at night, and I'm glad it was like we had plenty of gas in a newer car. So no chances of breaking down or anything like that, because it was a little like, wow, there is nothing out here. This is how a horror movie starts. Yeah. I literally was starting to get a little like weirded out and fearful, especially with the back roads. And I was like, what is he doing? And it was very, but we're all here. Everything's good.
Well, in those situations too, he can know full and well. He's the only one who knows his intentions and what he's doing. Yeah. And if you are 3 females in that situation that aren't from that area, yes, I could see where that would be.
He asked us where we were from, and we told him St. Augustine, like Florida or whatever. And then, and he was very country and very probably meant no harm.
Of course, but you don't know that being in the vehicle.
And at one point, he literally, because we just didn't want to talk to him because we were kind of scared and nervous, he asked if we were allergic to him.
Which again, in his mind, he's thinking, "Hey, I'm funny, but may not. Who knows?"
No.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting you mentioned that, because I was messaging with Gary at 4 a.m. because he's the only human I know that's awake.
Well, he lives because it's time difference. It's not 4 a.m. for him,
right? But I'm saying, but he's the only person I could message, and so I was messaging him in the back of the Uber, and I had actually brought up, like, we're just talking and laughing about how, when we were growing up, what did your parents tell you?
Right.
Don't meet, when we got a little bit older, don't meet anyone in person you meet on the internet.
Yep.
Don't get in a stranger's car.
Yep.
Now we literally have an app using the internet that summons a stranger and we get in their car.
Right.
And I happened to be saying to him, I was like, I said in some situations, it's got to be scary for the Uber driver too. Like in that morning, I'm a big dude. This was a little guy driving. I'm in the back of a car with this guy who has never met me either for 45 minutes,
right,
with his back to me the entire time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was interesting, though. We were having that back and forth this morning. But how was the concert? Was it good?
It was great.
Good.
It was wonderful. I had a really, really good time. There was 2 young boys. All 3 of the boys, I could have been their mother. I believe Bailey Zimmerman
is stretch.
Only 26.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's very young.
Younger guy.
The other 2 were 21 and 22, and I think it was Blake. And we thought it was Witten, but it's Whiten. Is Blake Whiten?
Mm-hmm. Country boy.
Yep. Yeah. And then Alexia, like the other one, and I'm trying to remember his name, and it's leaving me right now. But yeah, it was a great concert. Tina and me and Alexia had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed being with Tina. I always do.
Yeah. Good.
So yeah, how was your weekend?
It was exhausting but good. It's just one of those where I was nonstop movement in some way. You know what I mean? Okay. So I drove straight to Hollywood Studios Friday morning to meet up with Michael. He had to activate his pass because he had just renewed them online recently.
Nice.
So I met him at the front gate. We went in and. So this week, which is going to be very interesting, hopefully most of the folks got here before this storm is coming in. Obviously it's going to come on Tuesday. We're recording at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So it is, how they do like the ski weeks up in the Northeast?
Yeah.
Well, Michael was saying apparently normally like 1 week is just say Connecticut, 1 week is like New Hampshire or whatever. They're on the same week this year, and it's this week.
Oh, my goodness.
So, we got to Hollywood Studios at, 10:30 in the morning, and, hour and a half after it opens, but you've already got alien soaring saucers at 35 minutes.
Wow.
Star Tours was at 20. Like, it actually did go outside, but you know how quick that queue moves. So we hopped on Star Tours. We rode that, and then we were kind of just walking around, and we didn't know what to do, so... we weren't going to really ride any rides because everything was so crazy. And so I was like, let's just go to EPCOT. We know we can go over there and eat some stuff. So we headed over to EPCOT. And
I'm assuming he got in the car with you and you drove.
Yes, I drove. Yep. Yeah. So I was like, well, I need to have my car with me because I
Right.
don't know where we're going to end up
Right.
at the end of the night. So it doesn't make sense to use Skyline or anything and then have to worry about getting back later, which I'm glad we did this way. So we go over there and I got my sake wooden cup.
Oh.
So we were heading by Japan and we're trying to decide what to eat. And if you don't know Michael doesn't make the plans. Like he said multiple times, he's lucky that he got on a plane basically in Boston
That's
and then
funny.
showed up in Orlando, that he's made his way to Hollywood Studios on his own because, Kat is me in their relationship who plans everything and has all those details and stuff. So I'm like, what do you want to eat? And he's like, I don't know. So we're walking by Japan. I was like, well, this bun they have is pretty good. So we'll get one of those. And then I was like, if I buy the sake cup, because I need it for my collection, will you drink the sake? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I did that, which I like because I even told him, I was like, you know what? If you weren't going to drink it, I was still going to buy it, and I was just going to pour the sake in the bushes. But I feel better knowing that somebody at least got use out of it. So got my little wooden bowl. It's really cool because they have them stacked all there at the register. Mm-hmm. And on one side, they've I kind of think of like Starbucks, right? They've got some sort of message already written.
Yeah.
And little drawings and Chinese characters and all of that, or Japanese characters. And then they write 2026 on the other side and they ask for your name.
Nice.
And then after you let them know your name, and of course I have to spell mine out and all, they write your name in Japanese on the other side, which is super cool. Also, what I like that they do now, previously they poured the sake into this wooden cup.
Right.
One, if you were the one drinking it, it was very hard to drink. Two, the sake kind of soaks into the cup then, and it just was weird. So now they are giving you a separate plastic small cup that will fit basically kind of inside of the little sake bowl. So I got that. So then we headed over to America, and I said how good everything was there. So we did the whole trio. Mm-hmm. We got the lobster salad.
Nice.
We got the strip loin. And we got the
Was it all as
brownie.
good as it was before?
So the lobster salad was loaded with lobster. Nice. Whatever you and I had that opening weekend, this had twice as much.
Wow.
Like I probably said it to Michael 3 times, like, I can't believe how much lobster is on here.
Wow.
But everything else was the same. It did seem, let's say this, I didn't have to tear or cut any of the leaves. So I think they took note after that opening weekend, because you remember how big the leaves were in the salad?
Yep.
That it was really hard for us to almost eat. You had to cut it with a knife. Mm-hmm. Didn't have to do that, so that seemed to be a slight change there. The strip loin was outstanding in flavor. It wasn't quite, it was done. They were smaller pieces than what we had. Okay. So while they were to the same kind of medium-ish rare, they just weren't quite as like fork tender because of the size, but the flavors were outstanding. Asparagus was perfect, and the little potato au gratin cake was probably the best thing I've ever had at a festival. Ours was really good. There was something about this one that was one of the best things I have ever had. I loved it. I wish there was more. I was glad that, you got to a point where you get to the awkward point, even when you're good friends, where you're both just kind of staring at the last few bites, and you're doing the mental math.
Oh, so you didn't just get this whole thing to eat, like y'all shared?
No, we were sharing it.
Okay.
Yeah, we sat down at the table there, right in the sun, because it was hot Saturday, or Friday. I mean, I definitely am a redneck right now. We'll say that because I put lotion on my arms, and I didn't. Whatever reason, I didn't even think about it for my neck. So anyway, we were sitting there eating it, but you're kind of doing that math, and you're like, well, I had about this much or this half of the plate or whatever it may be. Right. And then when he was like, I'm done, so whatever you want, I was like, yes.
Nice.
The cake, I can't remember what I called it.
Flourless cake.
Yeah, the flourless cake, outstanding.
Good.
Again,
Good.
That whipped cream, the only thing it stinks is that whipped cream really settles and melts, but the flavors are still there. So we did that, and then it was right around that time. I looked for the piece of art that the third piece of stitch art that you and I were looking for, and we didn't buy last time. I could not find it.
Okay.
Now, it didn't help because I could not remember what it looked like. So poor Michael, everything's like, is that it? No, that's not it, Michael. Is that one it? No, that's not it either. How about that one? Is that it? No, none of those are it. But yeah, so then around that time, his brother and his brother's family, wife and 2 little girls, were coming into town for the week.
Nice.
So he said, "Do you want to go over to Disney Springs and meet my brother?" And I was like, "Heck yes, let's do it." So we drove over to Disney Springs. This was after we. So when I got to Hollywood Studios, it was just me. So I got out of the car and I brought up car locator, and I put in where my car was. On the way, Michael and I haven't hung out since September when we went on that little guy's trip for the two of us. And we text, but not every single day or anything. So we're really catching up. We're talking, and we're pulling into Epcot, and we're talking, and we're parking the car, and we're talking, and we're getting out of the car, and we're talking, and we're leaving Epcot, and we have no idea where our vehicle is.
No.
None.
Not even an idea.
Well, a little idea, which turned out to be wrong. So, as you're coming out of Epcot and you can split, where the tram comes, you can split right or left.
Right. It's like
so we're both
space
going
or whatever.
Yeah, land or something, I think
Something.
it is, or whatever it is. So we're like, I think, and we're trying to replay in our head because we were just talking the entire time. And so we go to the right side and we get up there a little bit and we look across the tram area and we're like, we might be over there. So we cross and we go over there, and that is not very, very full. So immediately we're like, you know what? We were not over here. So we cross back over to the space side, and then you have, the median where there's trees and there's like some little runoffs for water and all. And we're like, are we on this side or that side? So we start kind of walking where we think, and we're like, I kind of remember that truck. And then I was like, where's the truck you were talking about before? And he's like, that was Hollywood Studios, and we're going back to the car. I'm like, all right, that doesn't help.
Oh, my goodness.
So all of a sudden I'm like, wait, won't Apple Maps on your phone sometimes pin it knows your last location of your vehicle?
Right.
So I bring it up, and it is pinned, and we weren't even close. If it had not done that, it probably would have taken an hour to have found
I just
the
started
car.
to say, oh,
so luckily it brought that. We were on the
my
complete other side of
goodness.
the tree line and the little median and the ditches and all. So we walked over, we got right to the car, headed over to Springs, parked in Orange. I did not forget where we parked over there.
Did
And
you?
trust me, I joked about it several times. So
Did you park on your row?
We parked on our row, our
Okay.
level, everything. We were
Okay.
right there. There were a couple spots left.
You knew where to go?
I knew where to go.
'Cause
Oh,
that's
no.
me.
I had to use Waze from
Oh.
Hollywood Studios to Epcot, and I had to use Waze from Epcot to Disney Springs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think even at that point, Michael's almost like, how do you not know where you're going? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Rhonda drives on property, and I'm just staring out the window like an idiot, I guess. So we go over to Disney Springs, meet up with his brother Josh and his wonderful family. His two little girls are adorable. They're wearing like the matching Disney outfits and all. And they're hungry because they had flown down early that morning. They're going to be staying at Pop Century for the week.
Nice.
And so we're starting to, think like, well, where are some places to eat? They come about 2 or 3 times a year. But, and then Michael knows nothing, even though he comes several, every other month. So we kind of just start rattling off some stuff. And I was like, you know what? I said, CityWorks is big. It's got food for everyone. It's usually really easy to get into at a time right now where, Disney Springs is very, very, very busy, and it's even busier than normal because of these holiday breaks. So we head over to CityWorks. They seat us right away.
Nice.
But it's got a big table because there's 6 of us now. So I ended up getting. This is the only thing I'm pulling up just so I get it right. I got the brisket tacos. This is $20.95. You get 3 of these suckers.
Okay.
And it is smoked chopped brisket, pickled red onion, coleslaw, avocado, queso fresco, micro cilantro, and flour tortillas. This comes with tortilla chips and a salsa roja, or you can replace those with anything else, any other side, but I kept
Sounds
the chips.
good.
It was very, very good.
Good.
Really good. All the flavors worked. It's a hearty meal. There's 3 of them. Flour tortillas are great. If you are looking for this to be, there's so much stuff on it because the brisket isn't necessarily the star of the show. Like if you just took the brisket out, you would be like, this isn't a great chopped brisket. But in the taco, it kind of just tastes like you're eating a steak taco, and it works really, really well.
Well, that's good.
So I really enjoyed that. And then, from there, the girls were kind of ready to go back and swim at the pool, of course, because the weather's beautiful, and they know that some cooler weather's coming back down here at the beginning of the week. So they head back, and Michael had just finally, this is 4:30, he had got his room. It might have even been after 5, actually.
Oh, wow.
He just got his room notification over at Riviera. So that's where he was staying because they're DVC. So he's like, we just want to go and hang out at Riv. Like, we'll see if Ken's working downstairs. We hadn't seen him in forever at Bar Riva. So I drive over to Riviera. We get in super easy with his band, thankfully, because, that can be tricky at some of these big resorts. And we walk by Bar Riva, and Ken is not there. So he's like, well, do you want to see the room? Because he's in the two-person corner tower room.
Okay,
right?
so literally, like, only two people.
Yes, this is... these are the ones that they started at the Riviera.
Mm-hmm.
There's a select few because they're literally on the corner. So what they can do is in the same space, they could probably fit a 1-bedroom on the corner of certain areas of the resort. They're able to fit 3 of these rooms, basically.
Wow.
Right? So you go in and it's like a half of a hexagon, door, and then they each lead into those rooms, right?
Wow.
They now have these with some of the renovations they did over at the Disneyland Hotel in California, and these are the ones that they have at the new Polynesian Tower.
Okay.
So when you walk in, it is a very small room. I don't know if the main room, not counting the bathroom and balcony, obviously, it's probably around the size of this office that we're sitting in. It might be a little smaller almost.
And then, like, the bathrooms connected, so like if you close off this section, like what we want to do for Kaylin,
it might be around that full size. So it is not, they are not very big.
That's small.
It is a Murphy couch bed only.
Right.
There's no dedicated bed.
This would be the Murphy, and
so
then
imagine
it just
you have a
pulls
Murphy
down,
bed,
and then that's it.
Yep, but you have, because it's DVC, you do have nice cabinet space with a fridge. You have a microwave.
Nice.
You still have, which is so funny, you have 2 real plates, larger plates, smaller plates. I think there were bowls, coffee mugs, your coffee machine. You do have some regular silverware, things like that. You have the fold-down Murphy bed. There is, next to the Murphy bed, there's actually a desk and chair that is built into this entire Murphy wall, we'll call it. Right? And then you have a small cabinet and TV above it.
Okay.
The bathroom is actually a pretty nice large size. It's what they had to do with the bathroom, but it's kind of weird because it's one of those larger bathrooms where there's almost more space than you need.
Okay.
But it is a nice large bathroom. You have a small corner balcony, but here's one where I'm thinking, all right, I know we're not facing the resort or the Skyliner or Caribbean Beach. I'm interested to see what this view is. Dead center is Spaceship Earth. As clear as day.
Oh, that's
so it's actually a wonderful view. You could sit out there
because then you can watch fireworks. Wow.
Yeah, so, in my mind, I'd always been thinking, all right, there's a good side view of Riviera, and there's a not so good side view. From what I can tell, most of them are going to be pretty good sides for views.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. I really liked the room. I would love for us to find some time to stay either in that room there or over at the Poly. It really is perfect for 2 people.
Yeah.
It's the type where, like, I would fold up that bed each day and have the couch to sit.
Absolutely.
And
I would too.
I don't think it would be a huge deal, especially, the way that we're doing Disney now, we are back in the parks a lot more.
Right.
We don't need this huge space. And, half the time when you and I stay at, just say, the All-Star.
Right.
It is nice to have that fold up in the table, but it's very rare that we really use it. So we have a lot of wasted space when you and I just stay at the All-Stars and pop and whatever. So we did that, and then we went for a little drive to look at something for Michael that he wanted to check out while he was down there. So we went for a drive, came back, I'm sorry. Before that, Josh messaged and was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? I should have come with you." Because, like, the kids and they're just like, I could. So he took the Skyliner, or he took the bus back from Springs, and we went over to Boardwalk area. So first we walked around Caribbean Beach, and then we went over to the Boardwalk area.
So let me stop you.
Yeah.
Like, I've not heard the words salt and straw and Disney Springs together.
We did not get salt and straw.
What?
But don't worry, my sweet tooth would be okay.
Kay.
So we're walking on the boardwalk, and Josh gets a message from his wife, and she's like, "Well, you got to bring me something back at least. Like, I'm here with the kids. You got to bring something back." So he says that to us, and we were like, "Cake bake shop."
Ooh.
And he's like, well, what's that? So he said, let's go walk in. You can take a look real quick. So we walked into the store, next to it.
Nice.
And so obviously instead of the restaurant. And he takes a quick look and he's like, all right. He said, let's go walk the boardwalk and then we'll stop here on the way back.
Perfect.
So we stopped on the way back. He picked up some stuff for her. I wasn't going to get anything until I saw banana pudding. They call it a banana pudding petite pie.
Ooh.
It's $11.
Okay.
It is a good size cup, white paper cup, and it is filled with Gwendolyn Rogers banana pudding.
Is it amazing?
It is absolutely incredible. It has everything in there because they have cookies. They've got all this. Even their
Did you bring
chocolate
anything
chip
back
cookies.
for me, by the way?
I did not because I was gonna have to sit in the car.
Oh yeah, and then
at
I
the
guess
airport.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
true.
You know
I
what I mean?
forget.
So it's not like I was coming right back. So everything has glitter on it,
Yeah.
including their chocolate chip cookies. But yeah, it was amazing. And then I went to go to my hotel, which would be an off-property hotel.
Oh, that's right.
It would be on Palm Parkway, and where we have been staying. This is so right past the Aloft is another little cluster of kind of hotels.
Okay.
And one of those is the Hilton Garden Inn. Again, this is, I think the rate was $125 a night. And I already looked ahead and there's going to be a $27 parking fee.
Okay.
Right. I was looking all day just in case, and I wasn't going to bother Amy with it, but obviously she could have, but I would just bring up Disney all day and just be like, I wonder, because remember that time that we saw day of $153 for an All-Star.
Yes.
And I thought if $153 All-Star pops up, I'm going to, have Amy book me that and then I'll cancel this one.
Okay.
Never popped up.
Okay.
So we get there, and like we have seen, most of these with their parking, they have QR codes posted all throughout the parking lot.
Correct.
And so you're supposed to scan the QR code, which first of all, don't leave it up to the guest to do that.
Yeah, because what if they A, don't, B, think, well, what if I don't and then get it free?
Flat out miss it is possible.
Or flat out miss it. Which
I need to look
don't know
for it.
how
So,
you do miss it.
well,
There's a lot.
I scan it. It brings up the website, and the page is dead. So I'm like, of course it would be. Why
But that
wouldn't it be?
happened to us the last time. For me, I
Yes,
was
it
doing
did.
the same thing. And then she said I had to get on their Wi-Fi or something
Yes, when we
weird. Okay.
checked into the town place. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. That happened before. So I walk in to the lobby. First of all, I don't know if somebody ordered their burger well done in the little bar and grill, but the lobby, it stings the nostrils. Like my eyes were red in there because there was a clear sight and smell of like a grease fire or something that had recently occurred.
Oh, no.
And there's not a lot of people around. This is now at 9:30 maybe at night. And so...
And what was this called again?
The Hilton Garden Inn.
Okay.
We had eaten lunch and that was it. And we had this couple other things. So it's like, I'm kind of hungry. I was like, all right, cool. They have a bar and grill area. I can probably grab something there. And I look it up and it's open till like 10. I'm like, this will be fine. So I go to check in and the people in front, she is asking all the info and she's writing everything down. And I'm like, well, this can't be good. So,
oh no.
And then one person who's already been checked in is waiting around. And I can tell they're waiting for something. She gets this other guy checked in, and then one of the employees there takes both of them and says, all right, I'll walk you to your rooms. I'm like, this is weird. So I go up to and first of all, I will say these two ladies at the front desk were wonderful.
Okay.
They were very nice. They were doing the best they could with what they had.
Right.
Which was a completely down computer system. Everything is down. And I later found out from Twitter, it sounded like there was some sort of wider outage for Hilton's at this time. So they're having to take down every little detail. They have a printed out sheet of the reservations, your name. They're taking everything down on paper, including your name, your address, your license plate, your credit card, all of that.
Oh,
so while I'm standing there giving her my information, I can see clear as day on the countertop the man before's mine information. So if I either just wanted to pull up my phone and take a photo or take some notes, I could have gone for an Amazon shopping spree that evening. Name, address, credit card number, CVV,
holy crap,
expiration date, and just for funsies, his car make, model, and license.
Wow.
Clear as day in the open. So I'm like, all right, well, this is good. So because the system is down, they can't issue key cards.
Right.
So that's why that woman was walking them up to their room. So I get checked in, and the one lady, again, these ladies were doing everything they could. Nothing against them. They were being very nice, apologizing. But there was no, offer of, which in these situations, I'm not going to ask for anything.
But they should.
I don't need anything, but there should have an offer been made.
100%.
Even if it was, hey, here's a $20 certificate, whatever, to our bar and grill
Something.
here. Or this is
We're
not a
gonna waive
complimentary.
parking.
This is not a complimentary breakfast place. There is a breakfast buffet for a fee.
Right.
Waive parking.
Something.
Here's a coupon for tomorrow morning for your
Something.
breakfast, whatever it was. Nothing. So, okay. Again, I'm getting up the next morning. I'm going to Jeff's Bagels. I already know this. And then I'm going to get to the airport. So I'm not worried about it. So she comes back down. She walks me up to her room, or up to
Your
my
room.
room.
Yeah.
She has a key card that will get in, I guess some sort of default backup card, but I never am given a key card. So I open my door and she's pretty much like, all right, have a good night. Bye. So I get in the room and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm not going downstairs to get something to eat because then I got to bother them to walk me back up. There was never any conversation of, hey, you don't have a key card right now, but here's when the system, so it was just interesting. The rooms were definitely on the older smelling side, a little bit on the muskier side. I don't know if their pillows were supplied by going to like a garage sale and just picking up whatever was available, because I swear it was 4 completely different pillows, makes, models, everything, right?
Oh my goodness.
So once I finally am trying to lay down and go to sleep, I'm just like, all right, is this pillow good? Nope, this pillow is not great. This one is like a saltine cracker. Then I get the next one and it's taco pillow, right? Then I go for like the next one and it's a king size bed. One of the 4 was a king size pillow. Right?
Oh
I'm
my
like, this is great. So I said, okay, I'm gonna hop in the shower, and I'm gonna go ahead and shower. I'm gonna just basically almost put on what I'm gonna wear tomorrow, because I packed as minimal as I could, and I turn the shower and I keep turning it up and up, and I'm like, this thing doesn't even get hot. Well, the hot and cold were opposite of normal. Everything for some reason was reversed.
Okay,
We've had that happen before.
that happen. Yeah.
But it takes you a while to understand what's going on.
100%.
In this situation, I'm like, they're just not hot water. So I finally figured out, but I take half of a shower that is lukewarm until I finally, I'm like, there's no way that. So I finally figured out, right? So I take a hot enough shower. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. About 3 a.m., I have to pee like old people do. So I get up, I go to pee, and when I go to flush the toilet, nothing. It won't do anything. Right?
Oh my God.
It's just, when you go to put a thing down, it's just clank. You're like, there's no water in this tank. So I'm like, all right, I don't need to deal with this right now. Okay? So, or maybe at all. I'm getting up early. They're going to come in. They're going to do the room. So I get up in the morning, and I have to go to the bathroom again. And it is not one that you particularly would want to leave there for housekeeping to locate, right?
Maybe you should have.
Maybe I should have, and I would have sent them a message. I would have been like, your hotel is this, right? So I'm like, great. And I don't want to go down and use the lobby. I'm not going to wait and go use it at Jeff's Bagels. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure it out. So I take the lid off the tank before I go just to make sure. And I'm like, all right, the water is not refilling. I check, everything's on. There should be water. Nothing is not refilling the tank to flush. So I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I do what I need to do. And then I grab one of their coffee cups, which must be like a 6 ounce, and I start filling it with water from the sink, the backwards sink. So I just turn them both on, and it's barely a flow. So I start taking 6 to 8 ounces at a time and filling the tank.
Oh my God! You're
about halfway
all
up,
day.
yeah, about halfway up, I'm like, wait, there's an ice bucket. So I go and I get the ice bucket. And so I start filling the ice bucket. Well, it takes another 3 ice buckets to fill this tank.
Oh my goodness.
Until I can flush it. So I flush it, and it does not refill again, but my stuff is gone. And so I'm like, all right, I'm backing up my bag and I'm out of this place. And I'm going to write to Hilton. Like I am. I'm going to reach out to Hilton and just again, I'm not asking for anything. I want them to know. As I walk down into the lobby, it's a madhouse of people checking in and out, of breakfast being served. It appears the computer systems are back up. Yes, I understand my responsibility as a guest and probably podcaster is to stop and to talk to someone at that time. But I got to go find the closest Jeff's Bagel. I want to get over to the airport.
Right.
So I just say, you know what? I'll do a follow-up after. So I went over to Jeff's Bagel. I hadn't even, first of all, I'm a different man now when I travel and do these things, you know. I don't check. I'm not anxious. I'm not stressed. I don't check things every 5 seconds. I'm basically like, look, I know I have a flight. It's on my phone. I'll get there when I get there.
Wow.
Had no idea what Jeff's bagel of the day was. And as I'm walking in, I pull up my phone to look, and it's Old Bay and cheddar.
Were you very excited?
My favorite bagel ever. So I get a bagel. I get salted. There's salted butter. Eat that. I go, get to my flight, and through not only the security where they check your ID, but the actual security where you're putting yourself on the conveyor belt. I got behind 2 different people that I'm pretty sure was their first time ever flying.
Oh, no.
I'm not even positive if they knew that planes existed 5 minutes prior.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, the poor guy, he actually reminded me of your dad because he looked like your dad.
Oh.
And poor guy, he gets there. He starts opening his entire suitcase on the conveyor belt. There's no electronics or anything in it. He starts opening it up and figuring out what he needs to fumble with. I felt bad for him, but he doesn't know if he should take his cowboy boots off or the cowboy hat off or not. He is just so funny. So again, I don't care. I actually got through really quick considering what's happening today, because not only are winter storms coming through and flights are getting mangled, but there is another partial government shutdown, which is causing TSA pre-check. It is going to be closed. There's no TSA pre-check by the time you're listening to this for sure. It was available this morning, but I think somewhere when I was in the air, because I was waiting for Starbucks coming home this morning, and I heard all the security people talking about the fact that they were furloughed. And they're going, I don't know why we're here if we're not making money for this.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
So anyway, I get through and I'm like, I'm going to get some Starbucks. So I pull up, mobile order Starbucks, right?
Uh-huh.
I click it. I place my order. I reload my money. Screen just sits there. I'm like, okay. I close out. I come back up and my order's gone. And I'm like, I don't know if it went through or not. It reloaded my card.
Right.
So I go to the receipt. It was never ordered. I go back to mobile order and it says mobile order not available at this location.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was just all these constant little things piling up. I get my iced coffee. They hand me a hot coffee. So then I'm like, I ordered iced. So she remade just all these little things. But I get on my flight. I get up to Maryland, nice and safe.
Oh, good.
So
no like travel problems.
No travel problem. It was a bit bumpy up there.
Yeah.
Because the storms were already kind of starting to come a little bit or whatever. So there was some bumpy parts. And Alan picked me up. I had 2 absolutely incredible crab cakes at lunch with him. We had some awesome brotherly talk and conversations. Went back to his place. We caught an Uber to D.C. because the game was at Capital One Arena. Number 3 Duke versus number 1 Michigan. We had really, really good seats, about 20 rows back on Duke's baseline.
Nice.
Which was a really cool angle to watch a game. I never thought I wanted to watch a game from that angle, but I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was a absolute battle from beginning to end. Thankfully, Duke came out on top.
They did.
By 5. They
All
were able to close it out, but with 1:30 to 2 minutes to go, it was a 1-point game. Duke was up by 1. It was one of those where they'd get up 5-7, then they'd be down to only being up 1 or 3.
When
5,
you told
7,
me
3-1, like it just kept going. Michigan would not go away.
When you told me how big of a game this was and everything, I was telling Tina some stuff, and I said, I think this is almost going to be like March Madness.
This was like a Final Four.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to a buzzer
and it
beater.
is very,
possibly.
very possible these 2 teams will meet again in the Final Four.
Wow.
The atmosphere around Capital One Arena was very Final Four like.
Wow.
We went into this Clyde's bar to meet up with a couple of my brother's buddies from the Coach K Academy.
Nice.
Beforehand, it made me realize 2 things. 1, why I used to love bars like that. Mm-hmm. And 2, why I absolutely hate them now. Because talk about nuts to butts. It was insane in there. Just, you could barely move.
Right.
You could barely hear. But awesome, incredible game.
Good.
Ubered home. And I had my alarm set for 4 this morning when I got my scam, whatever, funny calls and texts. And made it home on a good, nice, safe flight.
Good.
Guy next to me, it was a full flight. And I had switched from an 8 a.m. flight to a 6 a.m. flight to get ahead of the weather. Guy next to me had made it. I checked the night before, and there were only 4 seats left. One of those was next to me.
Okay.
Standby. He got on.
Nice.
And we pretty much talked the entire time. He was. You could tell he was a nervous flyer. because he talked the whole time.
Aw.
But we talked the whole time. He's a really, really nice guy flying home to Tampa. And then, I got home, fell asleep on the couch, and now we're here. So it was eventful. But, the main thing that I really took back from it, again, was this. It was so funny because on Friday we had our on-property versus off-property episode.
That's funny.
Yeah. And that evening made me realize so much more. I can shrug it off now. I'm cool with it. But imagine the family of 4 from Denver that got up at 4 a.m. that morning and traveled across country, and the Starbucks mobile didn't work, and the cowboy in front of them didn't know how to go through security, and now they get to the hotel, and their eyes are red because of the smoke in the lobby, and the computer system is down, and they don't get a key card, and then the pillows are weird.
And the kids are hungry.
Yeah, the kids are hungry now. The bed I slept on last night, I might as well have been sleeping on this floor. It was hard as a rock, so I don't even know what time I got to sleep. The pillows were all very hard. So we know when we walk onto a Disney property, a Disney-owned hotel, we know exactly what bed we're getting, the mattress. We know exactly what kind of pillows we're getting. We know what to expect. We know what the rooms are going to be like. We know the cleanliness. We know everything. And so, again, those are the things I think you truly have to factor in. And that's why this is a Disney podcast.
Yep, it is.
But we are going to do some more catching up. I have plenty more to tell you that is not necessary for podcast listening. And we're going to make some dinner and enjoy our evening before we get back to work tomorrow. But if you want to hear about even more adventures coming up, like redneck Uber drivers in Athens, Georgia, and non-flushable toilets with a dookie in them at 9 a.m., then this is the podcast for you. So hit subscribe and you get brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. And of course, both Rhonda and I would be so very, very thankful if you still go ahead and leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.